So, how'd you spend your bye week?
Go Argos, go, go, go!
What's up, everybody? This is Jude from Section 122 on ArgosEndzone.com. We've come off the bye week, and now it's time for the Argos to head out west, take on the CFL best Calgary Stampeders. Let's look ahead to see what they're going to be facing this week. The Argos are coming off their bye week after a rather anemic performance against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the newly opened Tim Hortons Field. They're on their way to McMahon Stadium in very wintry conditions for any time of year, but in particular September, to take on the CFL leading Calgary Stampeders. Calgary was able to just pull off the back-to-back or the double-double, going with the Tim Hortons theme, against their rivals Edmonton Eskimos. It should be interesting. Well, this is the thing. On paper, this looks awful. Calgary has won 5 in a row. They lead the league in total scoring on offense and fewest points allowed on defense. They lead the league in total yardage on offense. They've got the most outstanding player, John Cornish, now back and healthy, who I believe is only 144 yards off of the league lead in rushing after missing, 6 games with concussion-like symptoms. Bo Levi Mitchell is 12-1 as a starter, and Charleston Hughes is still making people's lives miserable who want to try to throw a football. So on paper, this looks awful, but you know what? That's why they play the game. So the Argos are going to go in there with the extra week to prepare. This is great for a coach like Scott Milanovich, who's known for his ability to game plan. This has only got to help out to try to get things rolling. On top of that, there's rumors that Andre Dury could be back in the lineup for this week, which would be a huge boon to that offense that has struggled mightily in his absence. There's still a lot of questions. Before we get too far, though, a tip of the cap to Mr. Ricky Ray, who became the 6th player in CFL history to throw for 50,000 career yards. An amazing total. Just fantastic. And it'll only help to have another reliable target for Ricky Ray there. My first thought is that you've got to take advantage of that aggressive Calgary defense with screens and reverses. They run that jet sweep really well for Toronto, so throwing another guy in there like Dury to carry the ball is only going to help. So I hope we see something like that to try to take advantage of that defense. The other thing, of course, the offensive line has got to keep Ricky Ray up, because with a blitzing team like that, like Calgary can bring it, they've got to make sure that Ray has got time to throw the ball. What I'm seeing, and again, this is just an amateur fan more than anything making an observation, but it seems that teams are starting to key on those short passes to the flats for the Argos. The thing that made Anthony Calvillo's offense in Montreal run so well was the consistency or the high accuracy plays. They're just moving down in increments. A player like Ricky Ray can make those passes, but he's so dangerous throwing that deep corner route, you've got to keep him upright to get a chance to actually throw that ball every now and again, which opens up the stuff underneath. For that matter, a really strong running game could work out well too. So if we can see Steve Slayton and Curtis Steele start to roll, that'll only help that team and get away from some of that predictability that you saw against Hamilton in particular. Look like you were just teeing off on them. It was really it was frustrating to watch. So this could be a feast or famine game. With the extra week to prepare, it could work out really well, or it could be an absolute debacle the way it looks on paper. Fingers crossed for the former. The inconsistency of the Argos on both offense and defense has made this week's fantasy pick pretty difficult. You combine that with the fact that they're on the road in Calgary, taking on the Stampeders that are leading in several offensive and defensive categories, it doesn't make it very easy. So I think the safest thing to do would actually be go with the third trifecta of any pro football team and talk special teams. I'm going to address Swayze Waters this week. Could be a field position game. He played a huge role in some of the scores that the Argos were able to make against Hamilton by pinning that opposing team deep. I know you don't get credit for that in the fantasy points, but again, with the Argos' inability to put the ball into the end zone, we could be looking at a lot of field goals again this week. So I'm dressing Swayze Waters. That'll wrap up this week here on ArgosEndzone.com. Make sure to comment below on what you liked or didn't like, and we'll keep evolving these things for you. Hopefully you don't like this too much, although we are stuck with it for a couple weeks. Keep an eye for us on all our social media platforms, We will probably have another roundtable discussion following the game on Saturday, or it might happen later in the week, so keep an eye on us on Twitter, and we'll let you know how to get in on a part of that. When you do get down to the Dome again, or do it online, make sure you order your Toronto Argos cheerleader calendar. It's only $20, and it's helping the ladies get to BC for the Grey Cup. September is Stephanie. It's a great shot. Definitely check that out. Speaking of checking out, it's time for me to go. Saturday, 7 o'clock, get in front of your TV or at your local bar, and let's have some fun, shall we? Until next time, this is Drew from 122 and ArgosEndzone.com, reminding you that we ride the rail, and we ride it hard.